This video is about the circle, and particularly finding the equation when the centre is 0, 0. In this situation, we have a formula that we can use, which is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So for example, we have circle A. Circle A has a centre of 0, 0 and a radius of 2, and I want to figure out its equation. Well, the first thing I notice is that the centre is 0, 0, so I can use this formula here. And when the centre is 0, 0, all I really have to fill in is the radius, this r value at the end. In this case, the radius is 2, so I fill that 2 in for r. And then just to finish up, I'll square that value. So the equation of circle A is x squared plus y squared equals 4. Now I have circle B, and it has a centre of 0, 0 and a radius of 1/3. And again, I want to find the equation. So I can see again here that my centre is 0, 0. So it's just the radius I really have to fill in. So I have x squared plus y squared equals 1/3 squared. Now I'm putting a bracket around the 1/3 because I want to square the whole fraction. That isn't a bad idea when you're putting it into your calculator as well. And in this case, I get an equation of x squared plus y squared equals 1/9. For circle C, I have a centre of 0, 0 and a radius of √5. I want to find the equation. Again, a centre of 0, 0 means this is the formula to use. So I'm going to have x squared plus y squared equals √5 squared, which comes out as x squared plus y squared equals 5. And just to point out here, a little bit of vocab, a number that's written with a root in it is called a surd. Circle D, I'm taking a slightly different approach. This time, I'm telling you what the equation is, and I want to know what's the centre and what's the radius. Well, just notice first of all the way the equation is set up. It's in the same format as our formula, x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And we know that the equation of a circle is only in that format when its centre is 0, 0. So straight away, if I see x squared plus y squared equals, I know the centre is 0, 0. And I'm also being asked what's the radius. Well, I know that this value here at the end is the radius squared. So to find the value of r, which is the radius, I'll have to square root that number. And when I type √9 into the calculator, I get a solution of 3. So in this case, my centre is 0, 0, my radius is 3. Okay, here we have circle E. Its equation is x squared plus y squared equals 7. I want to find out what is its centre and what is its radius. Again, we look at the format of the equation. X squared plus y squared equals a number. Straight away that tells me that this must have a centre of 0, 0. Again, the value at the end is the radius squared. So to find the value of r, I'll have to square root this number. In this case, that's √7. If I put √7 into the calculator, it's going to actually just display √7 on the screen for me. And it's perfectly fine to leave my answer in this surd form. It's very unusual in a circle question to be asked to write an answer like this to decimal places. Just keep an eye on the question in case they might ask that, but generally surd form is fine. Here's circle F. Its equation is 4x squared plus 4y squared equals to 1. And the question is to find the centre and the radius. Now, just having a look at the way that this equation is laid out, it looks a little bit different from the formula that we saw at the start. The formula says x squared plus y squared. This equation says 4x squared and 4y squared. If we have coefficients, numbers, in front of the x squared and the y squared, we need to deal with those before we can find the centre and the radius. And it's quite easy to deal with them. If there are numbers in these positions, they'll always be the same number. So it's 4 in both cases here. To get rid of this, I'll just divide the entire equation by this number. So in this case, I'll divide the whole equation by 4. In this case, when I do that, I get 1x squared plus 1y squared equals 1/4. So that's because 4 divided by 4 was 1. 4 divided by 4 again was 1. And 1 divided by 4 is 1/4. Now, you'll know yourself already that 1x squared and 1y squared is the same as just x squared plus y squared. So now we can see that by doing this division by 4, we have our equation in the correct format, same format as the formula, so that now we can pick out the centre and the radius. Okay, so the centre, well, when I see x squared plus y squared on the left-hand side, I know the centre must be 0, 0. I know the formula is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So I know that my number 1/4 is my r squared. To find this radius, I'll have to square root that value. And when I put that into the calculator, I get a half. So in this case, the centre is 0, 0, and the radius is a half. Here's a similar example, just for a bit of practice. Circle G has an equation of 9x squared plus 9y squared equals 4. I want to find the centre and the radius. Remember that the formula that I'm dealing with for a circle at the moment is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. This looks a little bit off. I shouldn't have these 9's here, so I can deal with that by dividing by 9. Don't forget to divide every term in the equation by 9. So in this case, I end up with 1x squared plus 1y squared equals 4 over 9. And again, 1x squared is just the same as x squared, and 1y squared is just the same as y squared. So this is the right kind of format for me to be in then, to be able to figure out the centre and the radius. Well, again, once we've got it in the format x squared plus y squared equals r squared, x squared plus y squared equals r squared, that means I know the centre is definitely 0, 0. And I know that I can get the radius by square rooting my 4 over 9. And in this case, that comes out as 2 over 3. So the centre is 0, 0, and the radius is 2 over 3. Okay, so this example is a little bit different. It says that circle H has a centre of 0, 0 and passes through the point 1, 2. We want to find its equation. So now to find its equation, we need to know two things, and they are the centre and the radius. And we have the centre at 0, 0, but we don't know the radius. So this diagram illustrates pretty much the information I'm being given in the question: the centre and the point that the circle is passing through. Now, like I said, I need centre, fine, have that. I need radius. I don't know it currently, but I could figure out how long it is by finding the distance between the centre and the point that the circle passes through. To find the length of this line, I'm going to use the distance formula, which I've written down here and which you can find on page 18 of the log tables. So I'm going to fill the point 0, 0 and the point 1, 2 into this, and it's a good idea before you begin to just label these points. The first point can be x1, y1, and the second point can be x2, y2. So pause the video now and calculate the length of the radius. So when I fill the formula in, it looks like this, and then I can fire that into the calculator all in one go, and I get a radius of root 5. So now I have enough information. I have the centre, and I have a radius, and I can use these now in my formula for the circle. So my equation is going to be x squared plus y squared equals to root 5 squared. And of course, when you square root 5, you just get 5. And you can type that into the calculator to work that out. And so there I have the equation of circle H. So again, to find the equation of a circle, this is circle I, diameter with endpoints -3, 2 and 3, -2. Find its equation. And I need to know its centre, and I need to know its radius before I can find its equation. And I don't appear to know either of those in this case. I just know 2 points on the circle, but I do know that these 2 points are the ends of a diameter. And I do know that a diameter passes through the centre of a circle. And in fact, the centre of the circle is going to be halfway between the endpoints of a diameter. So I can figure out the centre, and I can do that using my midpoint formula. And again, this is on page 18 of the log tables. And I've written down both my points. And again, I'm going to label these now before I apply the formula. So there I go, x1, y1 for the first point and x2, y2 for the second point. And then I want to fill those into the midpoint formula. And when I simplify this, I get the point 0, 0. And that's the centre of the circle, which I needed to find the equation. But now I also need to find the length of the radius. Now that I know the centre, it's easy to find the radius. It's just the distance from the centre to either of the ends of the diameter. So here's my distance formula, and again, that's on page 18 of the log tables. And just think carefully now before you choose your points for the distance formula. So I'm going to choose the centre point and one of the ends of the diameter. And again, it's a good plan to label these before I begin to fill in. And when I fill that in, I'll get root 3 minus 0 squared plus -2 minus 0 squared. I can put this all straight into the calculator and I'll get an answer of root 13, and this is my radius. So I'm getting there, but I'm not quite finished yet because I still have to find the equation. But now I have the things that I need in order to do that. So I have my centre and I have my radius. Don't forget that when the centre is 0, 0, I can use this formula for the equation of the circle. And when I fill in my radius of root 13, untidy it up, In this case, I get an equation of x squared plus y squared equals 13.